So today we're going to make a comfrey cream, and as far as energetics, comfrey is considered cooling and moistening. It's healing to tissues. It has allantoin, which encourages cell regeneration. It is known to help with inflammation. It's used for bruises and scrapes. And you don't want to use it for any deep cuts because of the cell regenerating aspect. It can heal the outside of the wound before the inside of the wound. And we're just talking topical use. It can help heal bruises, heal tissues. It helps ease pain and inflammation in sprains. It can be beneficial to connective tissue. And it can help sore muscles, so that, like, if you've overexerted yourself or worked out a little too hard, using a cream or a salve on your muscles can really help ease some of that discomfort. And it can also help with like rashes or skin issues. And today we're going to make a cream. Normally I make a salve, which is a higher concentration of the comfrey oil in the end result, but it can be kind of greasy and messy because it's a lot of oil. So we're going to make a cream. It has a little bit less of the comfrey oil, but it has some cocoa butter and some shea butter, so that it'll help absorb into the skin. And you can use either or both. But that's what we're gonna do today, and I'll go through a demonstration of how to make the oil beforehand too. We're gonna make a little more concentrated oil than we've made in the past. So this was my first time actually doing like a butter or a cream, and it really turned out more of a consistency of like a body butter or a hand butter, and it was beautiful consistency. It soaked in really well. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me. I'm used to making salves, and so yeah, it was fun. I'll do it again and keep testing it out. I think next time I'm going to do half shea butter and half comfrey oil, I think is what I'm going to try next time. Maybe I'll make a video. We'll see. Let's get started. We're going to make a bit more of a concentrated version of our comfrey oil than we've made before. So I am going to fill this container half full of dried comfrey leaf, and this is the beautiful comfrey that I got from Oshella Farms. You can see it's about half full. Maybe add a little more. Then we are going to add a little bit, not a lot, but I don't have much in here. A little bit of 80 to 100 proof alcohol. So I would say, depending on your container, just play it by ear. You could use up to a half ounce. Just depends on your container size. Then we're going to give that a stir and make sure it's all, you don't have to use a fork. It's just kind of what I had handy. Make sure it all gets moistened by the alcohol. This could probably use a little more. Make sure it gets moistened by the alcohol, and you can let this sit for maybe as little as 8 hours. You could let it sit for 24 hours. Just make sure it's all moistened with the alcohol but not soaked. So that's going to help extract some extra qualities of the comfrey when we make our oil. So after this is soaked for your determined amount of time, cover it with the oil of your choice. And you'll want it to stay about an inch or two above the plant material. Label this, date it, give it a good shake, and let it sit for 8 weeks before you strain it out to make your comfrey cream. You'll want to get your glass bowl, Pyrex, or double boiler, and I'm adding 80 grams of shea butter, and then I'm adding 20 grams of cocoa butter, which is a little difficult to get out. And you'll want to melt this in your double boiler, or here I have a makeshift double boiler. I just have a pan of water and I have my Pyrex measuring cup in there, and I'm melting everything down, giving it a stir. And as you'll see, I usually like to put a ring under there to elevate the container so that it's not sitting directly on the metal, and originally I forgot. But you'll want to melt your shea butters slowly because they can get grainy if you don't. So I put it back on the scale, tared it out again, and then I put in 67 grams of my infused comfrey oil. And then I'm going to melt this back down, give it a good stir, and as you can see, it's pretty melted here, and it's looking good. So we're going to pour it into another bowl because we'll end up mixing this when it cools down. I originally thought that I had it cool enough, so I just poured everything in there, but I thought I had everything cool enough. I started blending it. It was still clear. Then as I was blending, it got a little milky and a little thicker, but it wasn't getting the right consistency. So I ended up popping it in the freezer for a little bit until it became more solidified. And you'll see that here. See, it's solid. I can tip it up, and then I blended it until I got the consistency that I wanted. And you'll need to do a little bit blending. Scrape down your bowl, and it just takes a little time. I noticed that I had some solid areas that they kind of solidified against the side of the bowl, maybe from being in the freezer. I didn't have it in there for too long, just enough. And you can see it has a real buttery consistency. And you can pipe these with a bag into your containers. I did not do that. I just scooped it in there and tried to disperse it around. And it was a really nice consistency, and it soaked into the skin really well.